Welcome back to LFC Transfer Hub, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Sadio Mané example used to dismiss Liverpool transfer fear over Bradley Barcola. Former France international Louis Saha believes Bradley Barcola would represent a top-level signing for Liverpool, brushing aside worries that the winger can only play on the left flank. The Reds have been in discussions with Paris Saint-Germain for several weeks after Barcola indicated he would welcome a switch to Anfield before the transfer window shuts on September 1st. Barcola is looking for a new challenge and wants more consistent playing time after making it clear he won't pen a new contract in the French capital. PSG has placed a $198 million price tag on Barcola, and Liverpool have been in negotiations for weeks as they attempt to reduce the valuation of the France forward, who has 2 years remaining on his deal. Champions League holders PSG have bolstered their attacking options considerably this summer, bringing in Mika Götze, Ferran Torres, and Magnus Akliuche to compete with Kavicha Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, and Ousmane Dembele, leaving Barcola far down the hierarchy at Parc des Princes. However, despite PSG's wealth of attacking talent, Liverpool appear no nearer to reaching an agreement for a player they have identified as their primary target. Bradley Barcola would be a top-level signing, Saha told Mr. Gamble. He's quick, he can provide assists to other players and score goals as well, so it's easy to see why Arsenal and Liverpool are taking a look at him. Manchester United need a player like Barcola too, but they must look at every parameter around the deal. The agent is playing all the cards they can to increase the price. Look at Arsenal and Vinicius Jr. That's not something United should be dragged into. Those times are over. Is such a talent. He is a powerful runner with quality off the ball that reminds me of Federico Valverde, but a bit quicker. If he was a bit stronger, he could play in midfield as well. Barcola is able to make these runs that are very damaging for any opposition, and he is so technically strong in the final third. On the idea that Barcola can also perform on the right side of the attack, former Manchester United and Everton striker Saha added, "He can cross the ball really well." So yes, Barcola can play whether he's on the left side or the right side, and it is too restrictive to think a player can only play on one side or another. It is these ideas that are killing the game. Players should not be defining themselves in this way. You're a left-sided player? No, please, stop that. Look at Sadio Mané. He played on the right for Liverpool. They signed Mohamed Salah, so he played on the left. In his first World Cup tournament for France, Kylian Mbappé played on the right. He was playing on the left in his second World Cup. In his third World Cup this summer, he was the striker. Next news. Liverpool transfer agreed as decision made on signing new midfielder. Liverpool are about to part ways with yet another midfielder after Curtis Jones, and a top reporter has backed up our exclusive on the Reds' plans regarding an arrival in the engine room. Central midfield is a hot topic at Anfield right now, with Liverpool's only viable defensive-minded option being Wataru Endo. However, the Japanese veteran isn't likely to be starting any matches ahead of the likes of Ryan Gravenberch, Dominic Szoboszlai, or Alexis McAllister anytime soon. And with Liverpool selling Curtis Jones to Inter Milan for a package totaling £30 million, the situation had looked ripe for the Reds to sign a holding midfielder. However, our insider, Graham Bailey, brought news earlier this week of Liverpool choosing not to add another body in midfield. Instead, they've chosen to place greater faith in Trey Nioni, who's now been promoted up to fourth choice in the pecking order. Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and McAllister will battle for the two starting spots. Nioni is fourth choice, with Endo providing further cover as the fifth man. And according to the YNWA Liverpool expert James Pearce, Liverpool's plans to not sign a new midfielder are set in stone. He wrote, "Despite the clamor for midfield reinforcements, which intensified after Sunday's dramatic 2-2 draw with Newcastle, senior club sources say Liverpool's focus remains on bolstering their attacking options out wide. They don't intend to replace Jones, as they see teenager Trey Nioni as ready to step up and play a bigger part this season. Unless there's a change of stance, it's only the forward line which will be strengthened." Liverpool selling another midfielder. With no signing planned, it may come as something of a surprise to learn Liverpool are poised to offload another midfielder, Stefan Bajcetic. Like Endo, he is a genuine defensive-minded option, though injuries have ravaged the Spaniard's time in England. The 21-year-old is in the final year of his contract, and according to trusted reporter Matteo Moretto, Bajcetic will return to former club Celta Vigo in a permanent switch. A club-to-club agreement is in place, with Liverpool only due to collect a nominal sum. The bigger prize for the Reds comes in the form of a sell-on clause, which could prove lucrative down the line if Bajcetic gets his career back on track in Spain. And according to the latest from Fabrizio Romano, Celta and Bajcetic are now close to agreeing personal terms too. Celta Vigo are closing in on personal terms agreement with Stefan Bajcetic to join from Liverpool, Romano wrote on X. Next news. Hijack complete as Liverpool's transfer plans are confirmed. Liverpool still have a lot of work to do to their squad before the transfer window slams shut. Most people thought that the Reds would be welcoming at least 5 or 6 players, but at this moment in time, it feels like they'd be lucky to even replace Mohamed Salah. Several members of their first-team squad are still being linked with moves away, with Stefan Bajcetic even being shown the exit door. The biggest name to have been linked with an exit is obviously Cody Gakpo, but if Richard Hughes doesn't get deals for a couple of attackers over the line, there's no way that they can move the Dutchman on. However, despite everything that is going on at Anfield, there's still a lot that needs to be sorted, and with less than a week left of the transfer window, it feels like it's now or never for some deals. Matías Orozco is no longer joining Liverpool. Despite Liverpool needing players for their first-team squad, they've also had quite a strong focus on improving their youth ranks over the last couple of years. Trey Nioni and Rio Ngumoha are the best examples of this, as both players were prized away from other academies and are now being handed first-team opportunities for the Reds. Liverpool's academy has always been seen as one of the best in the world, with the Anfield outfit even being one of the best teams for academy graduates to get into their senior squad. Recently, especially under Arne Slot, that wasn't the case, but now that Andoni Iraola is at the helm, it feels like some significant changes are going to be made. However, unfortunately for them, one of the wonder kids that Liverpool wanted to sign now looks likely to head elsewhere. Matías Orozco, 18, will be a new player for #Brighton. The deal closes for $4.8 million plus bonuses for 85% with Cali, Pipe Sierra shared via X. The Colombian will travel tonight to Europe with his agent Leonardo Daza to complete the visa process, medical exams, and contract signing. Liverpool will have to turn their attention to other talent for their academy. Last season, Liverpool's focus on bringing in players for their academy was strong. Mortala Ndiaye, Ifeanyi Ndukwe, and Samuel Martinez are 3 players who were all brought in last season to try and bolster the Reds' ranks. Of the 3, Ndukwe looks to be the best, with Liverpool rather unhappy that he didn't qualify for enough points to earn a work permit in the UK. This led to him being sent out on loan to Levante so that he can get some senior experience under his belt and potentially return to Anfield in January. Orozco was expected to be the next youngster brought in by Hughes, with talks taking place for the midfielder for a while now. And even though the Reds were the only ones in the running for most of the summer, the Colombian now seems to have chosen Brighton as his next destination. This means that Liverpool will need to turn their attention elsewhere and try to find someone as good as the 18-year-old to plug that gap. Here's hoping that something can be figured out soon, so that the Reds Academy can continue to be seen as one of the best in England. Next news. Liverpool news. Bradley Barcola confident of £128 million record transfer as agreement close. Liverpool's transfer window activity is heating up, and in good time with the deadline looming large in just under a week's time. The Reds' business has been slow so far this summer, with only Spanish winger Victor Munoz and Barcelona loanee Ronald Araujo being signed this window. while French defender Jeremy Jacquet arrived and made a promising debut after his £60 million move from Rennes was secured in January. Liverpool have known for months that Mohamed Salah would be leaving, and the club are still trying to seal his replacement. But there is finally strong progress in the bid to sign their priority target in PSG winger Bradley Barcola, as negotiations with the Paris outfit progress. Here, the YNWA looks at the latest Anfield news. Barcola agreement near. Liverpool are reportedly on the verge of reaching an agreement with PSG for Barcola, as the Reds gear up to submit a final offer. According to L'Équipe, Liverpool are hopeful that the European champions will accept the bid, and the player's entourage is said to be increasingly confident that a deal will be sealed before this summer's transfer deadline. Liverpool have been pursuing the French international for a significant portion of the summer, with PSG reportedly demanding more than £145 million for the player. The Reds, however, are not willing to fork out such a sum. Barcola is also believed to be eager to join Andoni Iraola's squad. While PSG's asking price presents a hurdle, it has recently been suggested in the French press that a bid ranging from £111 million to £128 million could clinch the transfer to finally bring the left winger to Anfield. It is also reported that there are no concerns the deal might collapse, despite the apparent lack of movement thus far. There is expectation that the eventual sum will surpass the League One record for a sale to a foreign club, exceeding both Ayoub Bouadi's impending switch to Manchester City this summer and Neymar's transfer to Al Hilal in 2023, though the exact final amount remains unclear. Star shares excitement. Liverpool defender Calvin Ramsey has expressed his delight at his return to Scotland. The right-back has joined St Mirren, pending international clearance. With the Scots' contract at Anfield expiring next summer, he will eventually leave the club on a permanent free transfer next year. It has already been determined that he will not be handed a new deal by the club. Ramsey joined Liverpool in an initial £4.2 million switch from Aberdeen in June 2022. His Red stint was hindered by injuries and failed loan spells. He was restricted to merely 4 outings during his 4 years at Anfield. Nevertheless, he is now relishing his fresh opportunity. "I feel really good, really excited," he told his new club. "I've been in and trained and met all the boys, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know the league and I wanted to come back up here and try and show what I can do and rebuild myself again. I feel like it's a good place to come. I want to try and perform, work as hard as I can, and see where that takes me." It's a really tough place to come for opposition teams, and I think the pitch is really good as well from when I played here. It's a good setup, it's a good club, and I'm just excited to get going. I spoke to the manager a couple of times before I came up, and he got his plan across and what he wanted to do. It's probably a different St. Mirren compared to the last few years. That'll suit me. I'm comfortable on the ball, I'm composed, I like to get on it and try and create things and make things happen. Next news. Liverpool's dream final week of transfer window as Bradley Barcola signs and Star stays. There is just 1 week left of the summer transfer window, and it will be a crucial few days for Liverpool in trying to balance out the team and give Andoni Iraola the best possible chance of success. If preseason and the opening match of the Premier League have shown anything, it's that the Reds are likely to be a work in progress this season, with patience required to get the team up to the standard that it needs to be. Some of those extra margins will be found through Iraola's coaching, as he has proven that he can improve players during his career so far. But there is an opportunity to raise the quality levels within the locker room in the last week of the market. So, with that said, here's a look at what Iraola's dream final week in the transfer window could look like, with some signings and decisions on outgoings for Liverpool to come. Barcola signs. Bradley Barcola's potential move to Liverpool has been a long-running saga over the summer transfer window, one that might finally have an end in sight. With just 1 week remaining, the Reds and PSG appear to be closing in on a similar final valuation for the winger, who could add some much-needed firepower to the front line. At just 23, the French international star has both quality in the short term and potential to improve even further in the long term, which could see him become the spiritual successor to Mohamed Salah. even though he is likely to play off the left instead of the right. Iraola has been calling for reinforcements out wide all summer, and Barcola fits the bill with his hard work off the ball and quality on it. Minte joins. While Barcola could be the spiritual successor to Salah, there needs to be an actual replacement for the Egyptian king on the right flank before the window closes. Liverpool has continued to push for a deal to sign Brighton's Yankuba Minte, who has shown all of the hallmarks of a quality player with potential to become even better. The 22-year-old has impressed in the Premier League with the Seagulls and could take that up to the next level with a move to Anfield. Gakpo stays. Cody Gakpo is a player who divides fans with their opinion on him. At times, he is clinical and ruthless around the box. On other occasions, he can be wasteful and extremely frustrating. However, the winger has still been an important player for Liverpool with 51 goals and 23 assists in 181 appearances for the club, showing why he has been valued so strongly. There has been interest from the likes of Tottenham and Manchester City this summer, showing how highly rated he is and perhaps why he should stay. Iraola made a point earlier this summer about not weakening the forward lines, and losing Gakpo would certainly do that. A stay for the star could allow the Reds to have an incredible wealth of options in the attacking third. Midfielder addition. There has been plenty of talk surrounding the midfield after Liverpool's draw with Newcastle, and rightly so, with such a glaring weakness in the central ranks when defending on transition. Therefore, a specialist number 6 could be the exact addition that the Reds need to help add some control in the out-of-possession phase of the game. Exactly who would fit the bill so late in the market is unclear, with someone like Adam Wharton appearing unattainable while Crystal Palace refused to sell their star players. However, if the right option appears, such as Eduardo Camavinga, then perhaps Liverpool should jump at the opportunity to land someone who will add an element of control to the game. Liverpool transfer exits. While depth options are limited, Liverpool still needs to balance the entire playing roster, and that means some exits could be on the way. Harvey Elliott seems primed for a move away in the final week, with the star not selected as part of the traveling squad to take on Newcastle, suggesting that he isn't part of the manager's plans. Other moves could see youngsters linked with loan exits. Jadon Danns has been rumored to make a move to gain more playing time, and he won't be the only one to do so. It remains to be seen who else could make way, but Liverpool needs to find that balance wherever possible.